You really thinking about running for president? Is this something you think?
Listen, I have no choice because I've had elected officials, and I'm not going to give their names, elected officials coming up to
Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Maxwell Faulkner, and welcome in to Are You Kidding Me? Here on a Real Falking Sports Podcast. Are you kidding me? Stephen A. Smith wants to run for president? I mean, are you for real, Stephen A. Smith? In case you don't watch the news or sports, ESPN sports host Stephen A. Smith said he might run for president. In case you missed his announcement, check this out.
You really thinking about running for president? Is this something you think?
Listen, I have no choice because I've had elected officials, and I'm not going to give their names, elected officials coming up to me. I'm not a politician. I've never had a desire to be a politician. I just signed a contract extension with ESPN. I am very, very
pretty
happy
good one, too.
With my day job. I'm very happy with my boss. This is a pretty damn good one. But here's the reality. People have walked up to me, including my own pastor, for crying out loud, who has said to me, you don't know what God has planned for you. At least show the respect to the people who believe in you, who respect you, who believe that you can make a difference in this country, to leave the door open for any possibilities 2 to 3 years down the line. And that's what I've decided to do.
So this isn't a joke, apparently. He's for real. Yeah, the host of First Take, which is a liberal sports talk show on the liberal sports network, ESPN, Stephen A. Smith says he is thinking about running for president because he doesn't have a choice. So, okay, let's have a quick conversation about this and see if Stephen A. Smith is qualified to be the leader of the free world. All right, first off, Stephen A. Smith, no offense, but you talk about sports for a living. You became popular on ESPN for yelling in front of the camera day after day. Literally, all you do is yell at your coworkers or guests that are on your show to get your point across about sports. What does that have to do with American politics or how to help the world? Here's a couple quick examples of how Stephen A. Smith debates on his sports show. Check it out.
First off, we got to hear Shaq now do this. Shaq is what? The 5th best center in the history of the NBA?
What?
Fifth.
What?
Shaq. What do you mean, what?
Who's the 4 ahead of Shaquille O'Neal?
Have
you lost your
you want me to
damn
name
mind?
him for you?
What?
You want me to name
Sure,
him?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Kareem.
Okay.
Wilt.
No. I'm not giving it to Wilt.
No, you guys are crazy.
You're not giving it to Wilt.
No. You're not going to put Wilt Chamberlain, who averaged 50 points a game and scored 100 a game in 30 minutes.
Who was a foot taller than 99% of the league? Perkins, let me hold on for a second here. You do understand that as great as Jokic is, Embiid is a different beast. You do understand that, right? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Who's the lot?
I've seen you talk about the greatness of Jokic. You've never diminished it. But when he went up against Embiid and Embiid dropped 47, you noticed that too. And what you said at that particular moment in time is highlighting the greatness of Joel Embiid and saying, as a talent, this might be the greatest talent at the big man position we've ever witnessed.
I mean, when you really think about it, that is what the Democrats do, right? They all yell nonsense in front of the microphone without any meaning behind it to get weak, unintelligent voters to think, oh, wow, this guy must be really confident because he's yelling at us like he really means business. Huh. Okay. So, yeah. All right. 1 point for Stephen A. Smith for president. Good job, Democrats. Second, Stephen A. Smith, you are once again a sports talk show host. All you do is talk about sports in a liberal way on ESPN. You literally just started talking about politics like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago? What could you possibly have to offer to the American people? A rant on how much you hate the Cowboys and why they shouldn't be America's team?
generate ratings. Is that emblematic of what America represents? The fact of the matter is that popularity doesn't make you qualified to be called America's team. We are a nation that's considered one of, if not the greatest in the world. Why? We're winners. We're a superpower. Despite our troubles, despite some of the things that we endure, we are still the United States of America. People want to come here. We don't clamor to go elsewhere. What I'm saying to you, it's not about popularity. It's about efficiency. It's about production. It doesn't matter what we're going through.
How
we get up and overcome. The Dallas Cowboys have one playoff victory in 17 years.
Then how do you explain they're still the biggest draw in all of television?
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm saying
how do you explain it?
I can't. What I'm
yes,
saying
you
to
can.
Listen to me. What I'm saying to you is popularity doesn't qualify you to harness the label America's team. It should be production. Because even though the New England Patriots haven't won a championship in 10 years, I still call them America's team because they're in the thick of it every year. They're talked about. They're the second most profitable team in the NFL. It's the Cowboys, it's the Patriots, then it's the Redskins. And not only that, we respect them, and every year they're in the thick of it. The Dallas Cowboys would be lucky to be relevant in terms of production. Not popularity, production. They don't give it.
The funny thing is, I actually agree with him on this. I don't like that the Cowboys are considered America's team. I would argue to say that America's team should consist of a team that continues to win championships. It should have been the Patriots back when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick won 6 Super Bowls. And it should be the Chiefs with Patty Mahomes and Andy Reid now. You know what? All right. I'll agree with you on this, Stephen A. Smith. I'll agree that's a great point to bring up during the Democrat National Committee debate. Good idea. Another point for Stephen A. Smith for the Democrats' nominee for president. Since the Democrats are actually considering Stephen A. Smith to be their nominee in 2028, my next question would be, who would be Stephen A. Smith's running mate for vice president? Would it be Kendrick Perkins?
Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, 2 of the best to ever do it. When you look at Moses Moody, what he did in college, for him. When it comes to MVP voting, 80% of the voters are white American. 20% are others.
Where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, that they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly, hold on.
I did not call. I stated the facts. And you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now. Hold on.
I stated it's the facts. It's the facts.
No, it can't be Kendrick Perkins. He constantly sounds like he has peanut butter in his mouth. Plus, he's a racist idiot. So no, they just can't do that. How about Ryan Clark? Huh?
And I've had conversations with Shedeur Sanders, and he can do that. We all know that it's not just about him being Deion Sanders' son. It's about the bravado he carries. It's about the fact that he looks a certain way. It is about the fact that the color of his skin sometimes at that position can be questioned. And I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to have to deal with that until he gets on the field. Now,
nah, he can't stop talking about the color of people's skin. And sadly for the Democrats, that isn't working with the majority of American people anymore. Oh, I know. LeBron James is your guy, Stephen A. Smith. That's who you want for vice president. Oh, geez, I forgot. LeBron hates you now, Stephen A. Smith, for probably stating actual facts about his son Bronny only making the NBA because of nepotism. But no, it can't be LeBron. It can't be someone who hates you. Oh, how about Greg Popovich, since he's retiring?
So he's pathetic. He's small. He's a whiner. We all know that. But you wouldn't have him babysit your kids. You wouldn't hire him if you had a small business. You want that man in your business? There's no way. But you're going to vote for him for president because he's strong? I mean, Kamala Harris whipped his ass in the debate, just obviously, and he's running ever since. He doesn't want any part of her because, as she said before, she's eaten many of his type for lunch. As an attorney general, as a prosecutor, he's a small fry compared to some of the people she's gone after. And he knows it. So all he can do is cut people down, and do what he does. We've all seen all that kind of stuff. The ones that you can be even more angry about, because he's sick. He's a damaged man. He grew up the biggest wannabe there ever was in New York, right? We all know that. He wanted to be in the inner circle.
Not a bad option for you, Stephen. Other than the fact that he's a white man. Oh, geez. Nope. That can't do in the Democrat Party. He needs to be either a black, gay, a woman, trans, maybe a black, gay, trans woman. I mean, you can just say he's non-binary. Then you're good. Something to think about, Coach Pop. Oh, how about Steve Kerr for your vice president, Stephen A.?
Not as Democrats, not as Republicans, not as libertarians, but as Americans who know the greatness of this nation doesn't come from any one of us, but from each of us doing our part to build a more perfect union. That vision is what this campaign is all about. It's why I'm here tonight. And it's why I'll be getting out every day to help people get out and vote on November 5th and elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as the next president and vice president of the United States. And after the results are tallied that night, we can, in the words of the great Steph Curry, we can tell Donald Trump, night, night.
Stop. What am I thinking? That'll never do. He's a whiny white girl, also known as a Karen, right? That'll never work. Quite the predicament Stephen A. Smith has, but I'm sure you'll figure it out, Stephen A. I'm sure you will. I think it's safe to say that with Stephen A. Smith potentially running for president, we can all agree that the Democrat Party is all for show. All they do is put on Hollywood-style debates, conferences, shows on liberal news stations, and even interviews that are pre-planned with a script for the interviewee. And you know what? The majority of people in America aren't buying it anymore. The things that are important to them, their jobs, family, food, housing, and safety, are what the people focus on. Not a loudmouth on ESPN who shouts in front of the camera to get his points across on sports. Stephen A. Smith, if you want to run for president, by all means do it. No one is stopping you, nor does anyone care, but let's be honest. The people who really pay attention to what is happening in the world know who will be pulling the strings if you are picked for the Democrats' presidential nomination. That's right! Stephen A. Smith is my bitch, and so will all of you Americans who will bow down before me! When you bow before your king, kiss my ass and kiss my ring. Anything my heart desires, Stephen A. will do. Unlike Pinocchio, I pull the strings. More racial divide to bring in bling. If you don't vote for Stephen A., here's a big fuck you. Vote for Stephen A. Smith.